We're bringing in Representative Suhas Subramanyam, Democrat from Virginia. Congressman, it's good to see you on the good to have you on the show. Good to see you again. I do want to start with the new report from the Washington Post that the Pentagon is preparing for weeks of ground operations inside Iran. Should President Trump order in ground troops? As a member of Congress, have there been any whispers on Capitol Hill that there will be group boots on the ground here? Are you expecting that to happen?
More than whispers, yes, we're hearing a lot of chatter about that. And what's really concerning is that the president still hasn't come to Congress to get authority for this war. And he's also asking potentially for $200 billion. Those are actions that lend the hypothesis that this could be a drawn-out war, one where we're in for a long time. Remember, he said we'd be here 4 to 6 weeks, and he's misled Congress, he's misled the American people, unfortunately.
Do you support U.S. boots on the ground in the war with Iran? Why or why not?
I do not support U.S. troops on the ground, not unless we have a very, very specific endeavor, and it's very limited. Even then, I think this entire war to begin with was a bad idea. We should have and could have found a better diplomatic option. Certainly, Iran is hard to work with. They're hard to negotiate with. But in the end, what we've done is we've actually strengthened them, not weakened them throughout this war. And so at this point, the president doesn't have a lot of good options, but sending ground troops there not only is something that the American people don't want, but it's going to be catastrophic for our troops, it's catastrophic for our military. And while I believe in our military and I believe in their ability to succeed in any operation, we really need to know why and what we want out of this.
We're seeing footage of incredible strikes, incredible before and after images sent down from CENTCOM. Tell me in what way you believe that the regime has been strengthened or emboldened by this rather than weakened.
Well, what they've basically found is that even taking out their leadership, even taking out a lot of their key missile production and defense facilities, the U.S. is feeling the pain too. They're seeing that they can inflict pain upon the U.S. and to our allies across the region. And so if we withdrew over the next couple of weeks, what would end up happening is they would start, for instance, charging tolls for anyone that passes the Strait of Hormuz. That was something that wasn't happening as much before. They would feel emboldened. They would feel like, now they have more leverage in any sort of negotiation. And I think that ultimately, it would be harder for us long term to continue to build alliances across that region. And so I think in many ways, they've actually become stronger in the sense that they feel more emboldened now, and they'll be more oppressive to their people.
We're seeing a report from the Wall Street Journal that Trump is weighing military options in order to extract the uranium specifically from Iran. 1,000 pounds of uranium from that country. It would be a complex and risky mission. It would necessitate troops on the ground for at least days, if not longer. Tell me more about what you have heard about this and whether or not you'd be in support of it.
Again, I'm not in support of ground troops. What I've heard is that this could be, like you said, a very difficult mission. There's also a lot of different sites, for instance, and our intel is good, but in the end, it's not perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. And so it's very risky. And, we would need a lot of different assets cutting across Iran to get to those sites. They're not easy to reach in the first place, and they require a lot of assets. So it's going to be a very difficult mission. Certainly, if any military in the world can do it, it's our military. But again, I'd really want to know a justification for it. I'd really want the president to be working with Congress on this.
Yeah, I hear that. All in all, how do you see this war playing out? Do you believe that we are entering this prolonged military conflict here? Do you believe that there is an off-ramp, a diplomatic solution, an end in sight?
That is a great question. There are a couple ways this could end. The president could swallow his pride, come to Congress, work with us, try to figure out that diplomatic option. But it's tough now. The way that this administration has gone about this war, I think Iran is less willing to make a deal at this point. I don't even know who you make a deal with in Iran. Now they've sort of regionalized their leadership in a lot of ways. They certainly have leadership at the top, but even if you cut a deal with them, will the regional leadership actually go along with it? What will happen with the Strait of Hormuz long term? Are the Houthis going to enter the war, and are they going to pull out? What does a unilateral pulling out mean? Is that going to be treated as surrender by Iran? So there's a lot of questions that are going to go unanswered right now until we have more details.
Congressman Subramanyam, thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.